this, what we're saying here today. We're going to record it, right? And so that everybody can hear it. Maybe Hayden can do another briefing. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Sorry, Mike, I've got a bad cold, so it's difficult. Excuse us a minute. Okay, so you can see this is not ideal exhibition for security because it's laughing, really. It's a joke. It's true. One thing I want to say is that one of the staff in this museum is a perfect example of security. I remember when I was here, Lucy Williams saw somebody with something under their arm. They had taken a painting. Do you know this? Do you know the story? Lucy Williams, I think, is at the South African Museum now. You know Lucy, right? And this is also interesting that sometimes gentlemen, women can be very good at security because they know how to look after children. They're looking for the message behind the message, right? So this is the kind of feeling we need to have looking after children, okay? Because people don't come in here thinking, I'm going to do something. Not, unless it's like fuck white people, okay? This is obvious. Sometimes they will just, oh my God, nobody's looking, I can take something. And if it's in the museum, it must be valuable, right? It's this feeling. You know this, you security, right? So this room is full of this kind of opportunity. So we're going to talk about the danger points, the way I see them. Maybe you have even more ideas than I have, okay? So the one thing, let's just start here. He's on the other side. He's just taken the puppeteers to the other side. To the SA Museum. Okay, so this is one. To just step up on the stand, and we know sometimes people don't see the boundaries, right? We try and create boundaries. We also want to create a good feeling so that people can get close to the artwork. These are very small, so they have lots of detail, so they want to see closely. That's natural. But you could just climb up and take this. Put it in your jacket, right? It wouldn't be so difficult. Okay? So this is why I'm also thinking that maybe for security we could just sit here so that you can survey like this. Just, if someone's in here, you can actually just sit, relax, and just watch. And we don't know how big the groups are going to be. I know the children actually are not really the problem. The children will have teachers and maybe will stand in the line or around the room. They are being supervised. I don't think it's the kids that are the risk. It's something else that we don't expect. Okay, so let's just have a look. Most things are inside the boxes. We try to keep it inside the box. This lot, disaster. Okay, because they've got the sticks. Okay, and actually they're just kind of hanging on poles. With the puppets, their head is the heaviest part. Everything else is trying to look big, but it's not. It's just cloth. It's a lie, right? It's not telling the truth. So this means that if it's not like dominoes, okay? So if actually we must take some photographs of the installations. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is Alex and I will take photographs of each thing. In case this happens, then we can reinstall with Hayden's help. Okay? And Hayden, is it okay? Did you find it? No, thank goodness. Okay. So we're just talking about the weight distribution of puppets, and that the head is always the most difficult. So then we take pictures of everything in case the worst happens. This is one of the most vulnerable, okay, because it extends beyond the boundaries. And this is also very fragile. If this falls, it's broken. It's like clay, you know. And it's not fired. It will break very, very easily. Alex and I talked about which is the most vulnerable one, which is the one that's the most danger. It's this one, okay? Because it's so tall and isolated, right? So if anything is going to fall, maybe it's this one, right? Okay. Also, excuse me, coffee. These are one of our oldest puppets, and they are irreplaceable. We will never find another one. I know they don't look like very much, right? But they are rare. We've noticed that this one moves to the side, right? The base moves to the side. So it's the way we've harnessed it. It's not great. So something about vibration maybe will shift it. So if you see this kind of thing, please tell Hayden. He will just correct it. Okay? I don't know if it will happen again, but because I won't be here for 3 months. Right? Also, just to tell you, this is unfired clay. It hasn't been, this is clay here. You all know what clay is, right? So it's like the little oxen, right, that children make on the farm. If it falls, the horn will just break. So these are, they will break easily, but they are not the most rare. So if there's damage, I think we could find another one. Okay, so it's not our biggest stress, this one. And otherwise, everything else seems to be okay to me. Any questions?
Is there a big group of puppet collectors out there that might be interested?
This is so interesting. One of the reasons why this exhibition is a surprise is that people have no idea about this field. They don't know. And this is good for the museum because sometimes we find very good puppets, even on eBay, because people don't know that they're rare, that they're valuable in the long term. So actually this is a new field in many, many ways. So from that point of view, it's not very, very sought after, okay? But that might change. But we've already given them a clear message. It's in the museum. And what people understand is if it's in the museum thinks it's valuable. So they will take a chance, really. Before, we used to have free entry to the museum, which is a wonderful thing, actually. It's very important that everybody feels like this is their space. But now we do have a paid entrance fee. So this actually helps security on some level, okay? It makes it easier for you because it means that already there are less people coming into the museum. and there are less people that are really willing to take a desperate chance. So this makes your job easier. It doesn't make our mission easier, but your job is easier because of this. Okay, so good question. No, not yet. They don't. But yeah. Some of these, people see Japanese puppets as being valuable. So the Japanese puppets, people would think, oh, that's really cool. The Chinese puppetry and Asian puppetry generally is a new area, which is why our museum is so important.
If a visitor comes and then when the visitor asks me, what is this all about? Like, to cut the long story short, what may I say if I'm booked here?
Okay, this is what you say. Say, we never knew. Puppets are everywhere in Asia from ancient times. Hundreds of puppet companies in every city. Maybe even thousands in the past. Not so much now, but this was ordinary life in the past. Not many people know about this, right? And there are different kinds of puppets. Shadow puppets and rod puppets. Rod puppet has a stick in the middle, and it usually has sticks for the arms. This is also another kind of rod puppet. Some of these are my favorite ones. Or the hand puppet. This is also a hand puppet. It's from Taiwan.
Why you've got the one eye?
They are crazy. They will use any idea because it's about exciting stories. So they will make amazing characters that you've never seen before. And in China, in Asian society and stories, you have magic. Okay? You have magic. Sorry. Anyway, magic. You have imagination. You even have ghosts. So here's the Japanese style. Lots of ghosts, really, really scary. I don't know if you know some horror movies from Japan.
Yeah.
Did you ever see any? They love to scare you completely to death. Right? So we also see this in the puppets. Here's a ghost with blood coming out of her mouth or his mouth. I'm not sure if it's male or female. And also the manga comics, the Japanese comics, also have this dark, scary side. So in sorry, this is why I'm late this morning. So the Japanese were also in Taiwan for nearly 50 years, right? So the Japanese style also influences the Taiwanese, and these are Taiwan. This is where we come from. So these are from 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s. This kind of, I call it disco style, right? Of course, Taiwan wouldn't like it, but that's how I describe it. But maybe Alex can tell you a little bit
But it's very,
more, just generally.
yeah, very close. Because in Taiwan we call this 金光 girl puppy. 金光 means golden ray. So it's very kind of the disco style.
Disco style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Also, you can see from this part, it's really related to the traditional Chinese ones, but they are quite different in some ways. The scales and the costumes and all the decoration and even the makeup and the materials. Because after the Second World War, they just try to do a lot of experiment to create their modern puppets. So that's why we have the quite unique puppets compared to the traditional ones. Yeah.
I don't know if you know Japanese comics, but the eyes are very big.
Large eyes.
Yeah, so here also the eyes are bigger than a lot of the traditional puppets because the idea of beauty has changed with the Japanese influence from the comics. So this is quite interesting for us just to watch how the styles evolve. Yeah. The other thing about these, just so you know, is that the eyes move. Sometimes the mouth moves. There are little things inside that the puppeteer can use with his finger on the rod so that you can see his mouth will move. And his eyes will go from side to side and even shut and open. Okay. So I think I have to go to the South African Museum now because we're performing for International Museum Day. So congratulations, it's International Museum Day. And thank you for your support.
Thank you.
You know, security is always the face of the museum, not the curators, forget about them. You are the face of the museum. You are the people who greet the public. So you are very important, actually. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
You are our ambassadors, right? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Everybody know.